Hey guys, Robbie Webster here, and today I'm going to be doing another Blu-ray and DVD collection update, and I'm doing it back in the old setting with the old camera setup behind the DVDs instead of the Blu-ray shelves. That's because I'm doing some stuff with my Blu-ray shelf right now, so it's not really set up the way I want. So I'm probably going to do a couple of the next 2 or 3 DVD updates over here, and then I'm supposed to be moving, so after I move, then I'll have a different setup that I'll use again. So we'll go back to this one and just enjoy it while it's here, and then it'll be something different again. But as you know, before these videos, I like to give a shout out to somebody, and the guy who I'm going to give a shout out to, I don't think he needs any shout out from me because he's pretty well known. He's a really nice guy here on YouTube, and I mentioned him before, but I don't think I've ever given him a proper shout out. And his name is Jay, and his username is Absolute Sublime One. So hey Jay, I hope you're watching this, and thanks for everything you do on YouTube. I love your videos, and thanks for being a cool friend. So let's just get started with the Blu-ray and DVD update. The first thing I have here is something I showed an unboxing of. It's the Samurai Trilogy, the Criterion Collection. And I also have the DVDs here. Let me show you these. I've had these sitting around. I never got around to watching them until I got the Blu-ray. And when I started watching the Blu-ray set, it was just so awesome that I just couldn't stop. I watched them all within 10 hours. I watched them just basically back to back. And they're just amazing samurai films. Starring Toshirô Mifune, I think is how you pronounce his name. Sorry guys, I had an itchy nose. Yeah, I think that's his name. And this is just a phenomenal trilogy about the legendary Musashi Miyamoto. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And I'm just guessing because I've never looked up how it's pronounced. I'm just trying to read it. But yeah, it's about, he's like apparently a legendary figure in Japanese history, and he's just, this is about him. He's like an enlightened samurai, and he starts out as like just basically a kid, like a young man that's just wants to be a warrior, and he dreams about being a warrior, and he goes on and just keeps like improving himself. It really reminds me of the Star Wars trilogy with the Jedi. And I know that George Lucas took a lot of his influence from Akira Kurosawa's samurai films, so that's probably why you see a similarity there. But yeah, I'm just starting to get into this Japanese film and these Japanese films, and they're just amazing. So I highly recommend picking up this set. Even though I was a little disappointed that it didn't come in a nice box set and that it only had 2 discs, it was amazing. The film transfers were awesome. It looked beautiful. It sounded beautiful. The menus looked beautiful, and they had like amazing artwork on them. I wish I could get that artwork and like have it as my desktop background. It just looks amazing. I'd love to have like a big old poster of it. But anyways, the next thing I have here, this is the movie that won Best Picture at the Academy Awards last year. It's The Artist, and it's a silent film, but it was shot in 2011, obviously, and it is about a man who is basically the biggest star in silent films, and it's in the late 20s, the late 1920s, and they're just starting to develop the technology to have talkies, movies with talking in them, and he doesn't want, like, he's not prepared to make the change, and he gets fired from the studio he works for, and he's basically like, his life just spiraling down. And at the same time, a girl that he met at a, like, so they bumped into each other and ended up getting their photo taken together. She ends up starting to become famous and as an actress in the talkies, and so they're kind of their fates are kind of intertwined, and it's just a really good movie. I was expecting it to be some kind of a musical thing with a lot of dancing and stuff, but it's not like that at all. It's actually a really good story, and I highly recommend this. The next thing I have here is another one that I showed in the unboxing video. It's the Criterion Collection of Alfred Hitchcock's The 39 Steps, and this is the Blu-ray edition, which just came out, and I'm really glad that they put this on Blu-ray. It looks amazing. This is a story about a man who, he basically kind of stumbles into this conspiracy, and he is also at the same time framed for a crime that he didn't commit. So he's kind of running away from the authorities and also trying to prove this corruption that he's discovered. And it's just a typical, it's very typical of Alfred Hitchcock's films. He always seems to have a man that's trying to prove his innocence that's wrongly accused. It's very good. I highly recommend watching this if you haven't seen it. I believe this is from 1939. No, 1935. So it's quite old, but it's very good. And the next movie I have here, this is another recent release, and there's a kind of a funny story about this. It's kind of funny now after the fact, but my best friend and I were supposed to, we made plans to go and see this at midnight, at the midnight showing, because he was really excited about it. I was sort of excited about it because I liked the first one, but I didn't really want to go to the midnight showing. Anyways, I show up at the midnight showing at 11 because we planned on meeting each other at 11 so that we could get a really good seat. And he wasn't there, so I figured, he's probably just running late. So I waited until 11:30, and he's still not there. So I call him. I'm calling him and calling him. Ends up being like midnight and like 10 minutes after midnight, and I'm like, wow, he's not here. He's not answering his phone. It turns out like he had a really long day at work, and he just kind of fell asleep. Like he went home and got ready to go, and then he just sat down and he ended up falling asleep, and he didn't wake up until after the movie was already over. So I actually never went to see the movie in the theater, but I did finally get to see it now that it's on Blu-ray, and it's Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, and it was so good. I thought it was way better than the first one. The first one I loved, but this one I thought was even cooler. It had some really funny things. The last scene of the movie is just awesome. If you gotta see it. I can't even tell you what it is because it's just an awesome thing that happens, and it's just like, I thought it was so good. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed this film, and Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law were both amazing in it. And this one, they're actually going up against their arch enemy, Professor Moriarty, and I can't remember the name of the actor that plays him, but he's also a main character in Mad Men. And as you know, anyone who watches Mad Men, this past season, something very significant happened to this character. So yeah, definitely check this out. It's got a really good cast and a great story and some great action. I loved it. The next thing I have here, this is something that my friends were really trying to get me to watch for a while, and I basically just refused because these type of shows I never like. I always think they're stupid. It's Tosh Pointo, and when I finally did watch it, man, I was so happy that I did. It's so much better than any of the other shows like it. This is one of those shows where they basically play internet videos that have gone viral, and they talk about them and make jokes about them and stuff, and he does it better than anyone else. It's the only one that I can even tolerate watching, and it's just absolutely hilarious. And the one thing that I really love about it is that he's constantly doing little skits that they film in between. Those are very funny, but the best part is he has web redemptions where he takes someone that did something like really stupid in a video or that messed something up in a video, and that video went viral, and then he sets it up so they can have a second chance trying to do it again. It's very, very funny. Highly recommend this show. I think I'll give you an example. The first episode, I think, is Afro Ninja. So most of you probably know what Afro Ninja is. So he gives that guy a second chance to do what he was actually trying to do in the first one. So yeah, definitely recommend checking this out. You can get the first season. It says hoodies. Like, that's just a stupid joke that he has, like, where he wears hoodies for the whole first season, and then the second season, I think he has, like, a V-neck or something. Like, that's just how he decided to label the DVDs. It's kind of funny, but you won't get it unless you actually watch the show. The next two things I have here, these are both sent to me by Mill Creek Entertainment, and they're both awesome documentaries. The first one is Shark Divers, An Extraordinary Journey of Discovery, and both of these were just absolutely beautifully filmed in high definition. They look great on Blu-ray, and they're pretty cheap too. And the second one is Earth from Above, and I definitely recommend picking up both of those Blu-rays if you get the chance. If you like nature and stuff like that, if you like Planet Earth, you probably like that. And the next one I have here is another Alfred Hitchcock film. It's the Paradine Case, or the Paradine Case. I always pronounced it Paradine, but then when I watched the movie, I realized it's actually pronounced Paradine, and that's the name of the main character. Basically, this story is about a woman who is arrested and charged with poisoning her husband, and he's killed, obviously, so she's charged with murder. And she hires a famous defense attorney played by Gregory Peck, and Gregory Peck is, while he's representing her, he becomes kind of enthralled with this woman, and he is pretty much in love with her, and so he's kind of blinded to the truth, and so he's kind of like at odds with himself. He's trying to solve this case. It's very hard to explain, but it's a very good Alfred Hitchcock film. And now I only have two more Premiere Collection editions to show you. One of them I actually own, and the other one I still do not have. I told you guys before I was trying to find it still. It's called Young and Innocent, and some people pointed out to me that it is on Amazon, but the thing is, it says it's shipped by Amazon, but that's one of those things where someone traded it in. They traded in a new copy, and Amazon is going to ship it to me. But the thing is, I've bought 2 of those before, and both times they weren't the premiere edition. Someone actually just lied to Amazon and said, hey, I have the premiere edition. This is how it works. When you trade something in, you just click on the thing and say, hey, I have this, and then you send it in to them. Well, I guess the people that work at Amazon don't really pay close attention to which edition it is, and they just accept bootleg stuff sometimes, because several times I've ordered things that were provided through Amazon by another seller, and it was still a bootleg. So you have to be really careful to make sure that it's actually in Amazon stock before you buy something. So I only have one more thing to show you guys here. And this one was just okay. It was Topaz, and I have 2 editions here. It's another Alfred Hitchcock film starring John Forsythe, and it's about a American CIA agent, and he hires this French operative to go with him to Cuba to investigate these Russian missiles that are supposedly over there, and also to investigate a spy that goes by the codename Topaz. And it's just a really good. I mean, it's pretty decent. It's a lot better than Family Plot, which I showed in my last update. So I do recommend it if you're an Alfred Hitchcock fan. Check this out. Anyways, guys, that's it for my Blu-ray and DVD collection update. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.